So you might say, well, Dr. Khan, all well and good. So what is these positive supports that you want us to put in place? Well, the first thing we need to start out with is a communication process. It has to be constructivist. It has to be communication that everybody can agree to certain goals. It has to align with your vision and mission of what you want in your classroom and your school as a whole. The second question it talks about, we've mentioned that, it's prevention logic. We're talking about positive engagement, looking at it from a positive perspective. We're also trying to afford students opportunities to make good decisions so that they can self-regulate and become self-aware of their behaviors. And very important is that modeling through peers and modeling by adults. And you as a teacher could be that adult model, and you could have peer models that could train students that need the behavior training or the behavior help. So, and there's always going to be this wonderful piece called constant reassessment. PBS is a database, data-driven process. So why do children engage in these challenging behaviors? Well, in my research, I found out, and this is not brain science, folks, it's very simple. Kids are lonely. Do you agree with that, Tina? Yeah, Courtney? Kids are bored. They also have fear. Sometimes they're unhappy, they're frustrated, they're angry, they're sad. Sometimes they're very ill or sick. What are you doing to address loneliness in your classroom? What are you doing to take care of boredom in your classroom? How do you deal with fear? How do you make your learning environment safe, supportive, caring? So these are the questions that you need to ask yourself. What is it am I starting to do and think about? The next piece I want you to show you is that when students actually communicate wants and needs through a variety of ways, this is what they do. They try running away, they try sleeping. You've seen all of this stuff, folks. You've seen the hitting, you've seen the aimless walking around, the uncontrollable laughter. So these are nonverbal or verbal behaviors communicating a need. So let's talk about stop behaviors and start behaviors. A start behavior is one that's escalating. It's regular behavior. Your stop behaviors that where we want to put a stop to that type of behavior. So we call those start and stop behaviors. One of the things I put this slide in there was for you to understand that the difference between start and stop. Between start and a stop, you have to have some type of intervention. And that intervention is what? Prevention logic. All right? Here's a cautionary note. I want you to know this. An effective classroom teacher, put a line through this, folks. Put a box through this. This bullet point number one is so important, that an effective classroom teacher knows when to talk, but also know when to keep quiet. What do I mean there? Let's open it up to my friends here at MTSU. What do I mean by that? Jennifer, Charlotte, Ken, Tina, Courtney, Liz? Talk to me. What am I saying here? When to keep quiet? Yes, Charlie?
Sometimes when a child is misbehaving, they want to be heard, and if the teacher doesn't let that child be heard, then they're going to get more frustrated.
Sure. And I have a slide that depicts that situation surreally. Thank you. What else? Anybody else? Charlotte, you want to jump right in? Yes, go ahead.
Sometimes when students are beginning to act up, they don't think they're being noticed. And if you just stop talking, if you're sitting there quiet, just standing there quietly, it's like, what's going on? it immediately draws their attention back.
Sure. So knowing when to keep quiet is also a skill. It's something that we need to also consider. The second part to it is kids are not little adults. One of the things we get caught up in this war, I call it adultisms. Adultisms are things, kids really don't understand how to relate to. You have this adult world and you're merging with this kid world, and what's happening effectively is that these worlds collide because the kid does not know how to react to adult language. So watch your language. That's a cautionary note. Here's my first strategy for you. And again, my hope for today is to create awareness, is to talk to you about strategies and give you ideas and concepts. So it's not just strategies, it's ideas, concepts, and an awareness of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, my first wonderful strategy. As a physical education instructor, I use this coaching strategy on my volleyball team. When we went touring the country, I used PNP very effectively. It's a coaching strategy, and here's how this works. This would work really, really well in trying to correct a certain behavior or stopping a certain type of behavior from recurring in the future. And this is a feedback type strategy, okay? The first word, write this down. I want you in PNP, first thing, if a student is infracting a rule or is not being compliant or defiant, state the positive. Always start out with the positive. Okay? The next piece is, after you state the positive, something that you do like about this particular child or student in question, then you state the negative. This is what I'm seeing. And remember, separate the behavior from the child. Not attacking the child, working with the behavior, becoming more solutions-based focused. And lastly, who knows what the last P is? Come on, it's pretty obvious. Thank you, yay. And lastly, you end on a positive, always. Why do we do that? Why do we end on a positive? Jennifer, any idea?
To keep the child's dignity intact.
I like that answer. Was that in my behavior management class, 4240? Yeah. Great. And that's exactly what Jennifer said. We want the student leaving that situation with that dignity intact, because that's so important. We're talking about self-esteem, right, Jennifer? Self-concept, right? And that person would know right away that this person really does care about me, okay? And has the best of intent. But what's the other way of doing this? What's the opposite of PNP? How do we typically handle? What do we do?
Negative only.
It's negative only. Yeah, we focus on the negative only. And guess what, folks? The brain does not know how to process negative language. Yeah. An example of that, wherever you are now. Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, East Tennessee. I want you now not to think of a pink elephant. Yeah? Please don't think of a pink. See, that's the problem. We just cannot process negative language, can we? That's just my point. Let's move on. Here's something else you need to have. This is an awareness strategy. I want you to be aware when those 30 students that come into your classroom, they all communicate needs. Knowing these needs will put you in a position to better understand what is it you need to do to change the climate, to restructure the environment, or to change your instructional style or delivery. And the first R, write this down, students have a need for recognition. Yes, they want to be recognized. Yeah, they love the high fives, they love the good jobs, and they want to feel good. They want to be affirmed. They want to be confirmed. All right? What do you think the A is? Attention. Yes, right on target, Charlie. Attention. They have a need for attention. They want the attention. If they're not getting it at home, they will demand it from you. And if you're not giving it to them in a positive way, they're going to find it in other ways by acting out and becoming deviant. And you call it oppositionally defiant. All right? And the next piece, the P. What's the P? Power. Yes. Thank you, Charlotte. The P is a need for power. How many of you want power? Oh yeah, of course. We all have that need for power. We want to have some type of control over environment. We want to make our life, we want to have predictable lives. So we need to have and assert ourselves and have some type of power. So kids need power too. A kindergartner needs power. Yeah. All right, and R, what's the last one?
Respect.
Thank you. Thank you. Respect, R for respect. Yes. This is very important. We have to respect those little busybodies. We have to respect the middle schoolers. We have to respect our high schoolers, because respect, in my opinion, is not deserved. It is earned. I'll say that again. Respect, in my opinion, is not deserved by you. It is earned. And you have to do everything in your power to earn the respect of your students. So what am I saying here, folks? I'm saying that if you can put these 4 things into operation in your mind as you go through your teaching and understand your students and start to nurture their needs, you will be in a better position to develop rapport, respect, and take care of that, and make sure when you're teaching that the RAPR is embedded within what you do on a daily basis. It's in your curriculum, it's in your teaching strategy, it's embedded in your assessment, it's all over in your lesson. okay? Because these are needs that students want.